Welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be looking at an excerpt from a fictional story
Okay.
called Frost Veil. It's a futuristic Christmas tale that I think might just get you thinking about your relationship with all those gadgets.
Oh, interesting.
So imagine a world where technology controls every little detail,
Hmm?
even the snowfall, and Christmas is perfectly synchronized, automated.
Yeah,
But is there a cost to all this perfection?
right.
And that is the question that lies at the heart of this story, Frost Veil.
Okay, so let's dive in. This story drops us right into New Hollowridge,
Okay.
which is a city of glass spires and bioluminescent trees. It's a dazzling vision of the future.
Wow.
But at the same time, there's also this sense of sterility
Yeah.
and almost unsettling lack of genuine warmth. It's really fascinating how the author kind of sets up this tension right from the very beginning.
Yeah, for sure. And then we meet Lila,
Yes.
our 13-year-old protagonist.
Yes.
And while everyone else seems content with, drone-delivered dinners and augmented reality Christmas trees,
Right.
she feels this, nagging sense that something's missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she just intuitively understands that technology can't fully replicate the human element of tradition.
It's really interesting how her unease is represented by her fascination with this Frost Veil lantern, which is a relic from her grandmother.
Okay.
And it represents a time before technology dominated every aspect of life,
Right.
a time of real human connection.
Mm.
And this lantern actually becomes like a really powerful symbol throughout the story, almost like a physical embodiment of that yearning for authenticity.
So it's not just like a longing for the past, though, right?
Sure.
It's about recognizing that potential pitfalls of allowing technology to completely dictate our lives and our experiences. Like, think about it in your own life.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that technology, while being super convenient, might be creating a barrier to genuine connection?
It is definitely a question worth pondering. And I think the story highlights this tension when Lila decides to actually light the lantern,
Okay.
despite the protests of her AI assistant, Mary. And that simple act of defiance
Yeah.
disrupts this technological perfection of New Hollowridge.
Okay.
The drones fall silent, the holographic lights flicker.
Wow.
It's almost as if she's pierced a veil and is revealing something deeper, something more real underneath.
And then out of the mist comes the Frost Warden.
Yes.
This being of frost and tech, fragmented and kind of unsettling. I love how the author blends these seemingly opposite elements to create such a unique and thought-provoking character.
I think that the fragmented form is very symbolic, don't you think?
Yeah.
Of the sort of fractured nature of human connection
Yeah.
in New Hollowridge. And its telepathic communication with Lila also adds this eerie, almost intrusive element,
Interesting.
which further kind of highlights the way technology can blur those boundaries between our inner and outer worlds.
Right. Absolutely. And the Warden doesn't waste any time challenging Lila's perception of reality.
You know it doesn't.
You call this reality, it asks,
Oh, wow.
pointing out the artificiality of their technologically orchestrated Christmas.
Right.
It's a really powerful moment that forces Lila and us as readers to actually confront the question, what is real connection?
And it takes that question even further when the Frost Warden touches the lantern.
What happens?
Suddenly, Lila is just flooded with these sensory memories, laughter, songs, stories from Christmases past.
Wow.
These echoes of genuine human experience are such a stark contrast to the sterile, controlled environment of New Hollowridge.
Yeah.
It's as if the lantern, together with the Warden's presence, has briefly thinned this veil between the observer and the observed, allowing Lila to actually experience this glimpse of a more authentic reality.
It's such a poignant scene, and it makes you wonder, what are we losing in our own lives by becoming so reliant on technology?
Right.
Are we sacrificing those spontaneous moments of joy, those real unfiltered interactions that make us feel truly connected?
Exactly. And that brings us to, I think, a really pivotal moment in the story, which is Lila's decision to keep the lantern lit.
Okay.
It's a really powerful act of choosing authenticity over artificiality, embracing the unknown over this perfectly controlled existence. What strikes you about this choice?
Well, to me, it represents the importance of individual agency in a world that is technologically driven.
Right.
Lila's decision to hold on to something real, something that connects her to her past and to a deeper sense of humanity, is incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
It suggests that we're not simply passive recipients of technology's influence,
Right.
but that we actually have the power to choose how we engage with it, how we shape our experiences.
It's a message that really resonates, especially now in our current world, where technology is constantly vying for our attention
Right.
and shaping our perceptions.
Oh.
The story reminds us that we have a choice to let technology control us or to use it as a tool to enhance our lives and our connections.
And it's not just Lila who's affected by this choice, right?
No.
Even though the drones and holograms eventually come back to life, flicker back on,
Right.
something has shifted in New Hollowridge.
Yes.
And that shift is most apparent in Lila's parents.
Okay.
Seeing the lantern sparks memories of their own past Christmases, the time before technology dominated their lives. It's as if the lantern's light is piercing through the layers of technological dependence, reawakening something human within them.
It's here where the story starts to explore this idea that maybe technology isn't inherently bad,
Okay.
but it can lead us to just forget the importance of genuine human connection.
Right.
The Frost Veil, in a way, represents that barrier between us
Right.
and a more authentic, meaningful experience of life.
So how do we ensure that our own frost veils don't become too thick? How do we maintain that balance between the convenience and the efficiency of technology and the warmth and the depth of real human connection?
We'll continue to explore that as we delve deeper into the ending of Frost Veil, but for now, what stands out to you so far?
I think for me, it's that reminder that even in this futuristic world where technology seemingly has all the answers,
Right.
it's the human element, the messy, unpredictable, deeply personal connections that truly give life meaning.
Yes.
And the story reminds us that we shouldn't let technology steal the warmth from our lives,
For sure.
especially during times like Christmas when connection and tradition are so important.
I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dives, where we'll look at how the family dynamic in Frost Veil shifts as they rediscover the power of storytelling and shared experience.
Okay.
It's a reminder that even in this technologically advanced world, the most meaningful connections are often the ones we forge offline, face-to-face, heart-to-heart.
It's interesting how Frostvale doesn't really paint technology as the villain.
Yeah, right.
Instead, it seems to suggest that it's more about how we use it, or maybe how we let it use us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think going back to the Frost Warden,
Yeah.
that imagery, that appearance,
Yes.
that blend of frost and technology, I think it really speaks volumes about how technology can both connect and isolate us.
Yeah.
It's like a mirror, right?
Right.
To that potential for fragmentation in our own lives.
Yeah, for sure.
If we let technology become a barrier instead of a bridge.
It's like, when you're at dinner with people,
Right.
but everyone's just glued to their phones.
Yeah.
Are we losing the ability to just be present with each other?
The
To
present.
share those, real unscripted moments?
And the story tackles that question head on.
Yeah.
When we see Lila's parents initially kind of hesitant and unsure how to interact without all their technological crutches,
Yeah.
they start to rediscover this simple joy of just storytelling, sharing memories, not the perfectly curated kind that their AI assistant might compose, but the ones that are filled with laughter, imperfections, real emotion,
Yeah.
and these moments around the Frostvale lantern become like a sanctuary
Right.
from the kind of sterile perfection of their technologically driven lives.
And it's in those imperfect, unscripted moments that they
Right.
really reconnect.
Exactly.
Not just with each other, but with something deeper.
Yeah.
Something more human.
That shared humanity.
Yeah. And the lantern becomes a catalyst
Right.
for rediscovering that warmth and authenticity that maybe they had lost a little bit.
And what I find really fascinating is that, the story also highlights the power of tradition
Right.
in fostering those connections.
Yeah.
And it's not about blindly clinging to the past, right?
Right.
It's about recognizing that there's value in these rituals,
Yeah.
these shared experiences that bring people together in a meaningful way.
Makes you wonder, if traditions, in our modern world are kind of like a counterbalance
Absolutely.
to the isolating effects of technology.
I think so.
Think about family dinners,
Yeah.
holiday gatherings, reading bedtime stories to your kids. It's like all these opportunities to just disconnect from that digital world
Right.
and connect with each other.
Yeah. on a human level,
Right.
on a real human level.
And those connections, those real human connections,
yes,
built on shared experiences and genuine emotion, are really what give life meaning.
I completely agree.
It reminds us that we're not just these isolated individuals
Right?
navigating a digital landscape, but we're part of something bigger, absolutely more
A
interconnected.
community.
What's
yeah.
so interesting is how Lila's parents are almost bewildered by the lantern at first.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they forgot how to interact
Right.
without technology sort of mediating every move.
Mhm.
But as they start telling stories, you can see this change in them.
Yeah.
They become more relaxed, more present.
With themselves, yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like that transformation speaks to the idea that it's never too late
Right.
to reclaim those genuine connections.
Yeah.
Even when we're surrounded by all this technology, we still have the capacity
Right.
to choose authenticity, to prioritize those real-world interactions
Right.
that really nourish our souls,
Right.
remind us what's truly important.
It makes me think about the Frost Warden
Yes,
because its role kind of evolves.
it does.
In the beginning, it's almost like a harbinger of that coldness and isolation.
Right.
But as the family reconnects, the warden seems to become more of an observer.
Yeah.
Like it's witnessing this thaw in the icy grip of technology.
Yeah, it's like a barometer
Right.
of the changing atmosphere.
Yeah.
As the family rekindles its connection,
Exactly.
the warden senses a shift,
Yeah.
like a flicker of warmth
Yeah.
in this world that had become so cold and
Right.
sterile.
And that warmth comes from their decision
Yeah,
to choose that genuine connection over
Yeah.
that artificial perfection.
exactly.
They embrace imperfection,
Mhm.
spontaneity, that messy reality of human relationships.
But realness.
And that's where they find true joy and meaning.
And it reminds us that technology, while being a powerful tool,
Right.
shouldn't be allowed to dictate our experiences or define our relationships.
Yeah.
Frostvale is really encouraging us
Right.
to question the role of technology in our lives.
Yeah.
And to be mindful of its potential to connect us,
Yeah.
but also to isolate us.
Right.
And to make those conscious choices that prioritize authentic human connection above all else.
And I love how the story ends with the Frost Warden observing this from a distance,
Yeah.
noticing this increased warmth in New Hollowridge.
Right.
It leaves us with this sense of hope,
Yes.
the suggestion that even in this advanced world,
Yeah.
human connection can still thrive.
But it takes intentionality.
Yes, absolutely. It takes work. That's a powerful message.
Yeah,
Because we have the power to shape our relationship with technology.
Oh, no.
We can let it isolate us, or we can use it to bridge the distance. Frostvale is really about reclaiming what makes us human,
It is.
recognizing that true joy and meaning
Mm-hmm.
aren't found in this, perfectly curated digital world,
Yeah.
but in that messy, imperfect beauty
Exactly.
of real human connection.
Yeah. It's a message that really hits home, I think, in our world right now,
Absolutely.
where technology is constantly evolving
Yeah.
and demanding our attention.
Right.
It invites us to pause, to reflect,
Right.
and to really make conscious choices
Right.
that prioritize authentic human experience
Above all else.
above all else.
I want to leave you with this question.
Yeah,
What small steps can you take today to
Right.
thin your own frost veil?
I love that.
How can you create space for more genuine connection?
Hmm.
More laughter, more shared experiences?
Maybe put the phone down during dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe start a conversation with your neighbor. Write a handwritten letter to a friend.
Oh, yeah.
Or just really take the time to listen to someone you love.
Beautifully said.
The possibilities are endless,
Absolutely.
and the rewards are immeasurable.
Okay. Well, on that note,
Yeah.
we'll leave you to ponder those possibilities.
Okay.
And until next time, may your frost veils be thin,
Yes.
your connections warm, and your experiences rich with the joy of human connection.